Welcome everybody to both sides of the conversation. I'm John Henry, Executive Director. Today is Thursday, so you know what that means. We're going to have another educational Thursday segment. Tonight is a special segment because we will have the San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins coming on tonight. So we're excited about that. Community, for folks tuning in for the first time, please, if you're on our YouTube, use the live chat function. You want to ask a few questions. We have her for a short time tonight, community. Don't get frustrated, okay? She has a certain time. It's late. We appreciate her giving up time this evening. If you're on our Facebook page or group, you can ask questions or comments there. We'll try to get the stuff up on the screen. There's a lot going on across the city, across the globe. Lots going on. But tonight, we're going to get the DA here as we're going to just get through our normal show routine. And she'll be pulling in about 15, 20 minutes. We'll bring her up and get her going. She's here for a short time, community. But again, it's our job to make sure that we get the folks in here that are representing our city from the different capacities to have these conversations and talk about what's going on. There's a lot going on. So, man, all I can say is hang in there. And get ready for tonight. It should be great. We got a lot of announcements, a lot of things happening. As you all can see, as I've been talking over the last several months, there's a volcano, okay? I've been saying it's loud. Community, there's a volcano that's erupted, not only here locally, but across the world and the globe. As you see the protests, violent protests happening all across the country today. All of a number of school, colleges, campuses across this country. Just terrible things happening. And I know the APEC event is going on here in the city. I know you all see the news. I know people are frustrated, still trying to get home now as protesters shut down the Bay Bridge, shut down the highways. It's a lot going on. So be patient, community. I know everybody's frustrated, but we are in a time of awakening. We are in a time of change. We are in a time of just a lot of disruptions and a lot of things that we just never seen and heard in this country. And, due to social media, due to technology, due to the advancement of communication information, things are flying around. And it's like some of the stuff that we see from city officials, politicians, elected officials, what's going on in this country. It's just terrible right now. We're in a terrible space. Our moral compass as the United States of America is being questioned, is being observed by the world. And we're not doing so great in a lot of areas. But again, we continue to uplift. We continue to do what we can do to just move forward. There's some change that is needed. There's some new directions, some new ways that we need to go as we move forward, as we step into this new electoral year, as we step into 2024, as a lot of elections are happening, a lot of things are happening. Community, get out and do your civic duty and make sure that your voices are heard and uplift your voices. With that being said, I want to go ahead and introduce the team again. They are here. Brother Mark, the voice, you are here tonight, brother. Holla at the people. What's going on, brother?
Oh, as always, Bishop, glad to be here on another episode of Both Sides of the Conversation. Really looking forward to tonight's. This is kind of feel like we're coming up in the world. Like we're actually getting an opportunity to give the community a chance to really engage with real decision makers. So I think this is going to be a powerful show. So I'm glad to be here.
Man, glad to have you here. It's always great to have you here. The voice is always bringing that knowledge, dropping the gems to the people. So just excited to have you here, brother, and to speak with DA tonight and just, continue to bring information to our community. But with that being said, the queen is here. Sister Ayo, she's back tonight, community. Here she is. Ayo, what's going on? Talk to the people, community.
Good evening, community, and thank you for joining us this evening. We do know it is late, and we do appreciate your time. We have an amazing show for you tonight, and I did miss you guys. So, just hang in tight, but we do have a great show for you guys this evening.
Yeah, well, it seemed like it worked out perfect, okay? I know it's 8:30. It's going to be late for some folks, but I know folks have been stuck in traffic, so it all worked out tonight. Typically, we start at 7, but we're here now, so just excited about that. But we're going to go ahead and get into our news and some of our announcements and events, and then we'll get ready and warm up the platform, and the DA should be jumping on here shortly with us. But with that being said, the voice, take over. Talk about the news. What's going on, brother?
All right, well, I'll go ahead and jump straight into the first headline for world news. Israeli forces comb Gaza hospital for a second day. A day after it took control of the Gaza Strip's largest hospital, the Israeli military on Thursday afternoon was still searching the site that Israel has said concealed a secret Hamas base. And to bolster its cause, offered video of more weapons it said had been found there, but what it described also as a tunnel entrance. The images presented by Israel with the hospital, Al Shifa in Gaza City, could not be independently verified and still have not proven the existence of the sprawling Hamas operation that it said the hospital concealed. Israeli soldiers have recovered the body of one of the hostages kidnapped during the Hamas-led attack on Israel last month from a building next to the Al Shifa hospital complex in Gaza City. And the military said on Thursday night, the Gaza Health Ministry also said that thousands of people remained inside the Al Shifa hospital compound with little food and water as Israeli forces searched the premises for a second day. And local news: in Sunak battle Supreme Court ruling, what's next for UK's Rwanda plan? Hours after the United Kingdom Supreme Court ruled that the government's plan to send asylum seekers to the African country was unlawful, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak promised to introduce emergency litigation that confirms that Rwanda is a safe country, adding the legislation will provide a guarantee in law that those who are relocated from the UK to Rwanda will be protected against removal from Rwanda. And it will ensure that people cannot further delay flights and bringing systematic challenges in our domestic courts and stop our policy from being repeatedly blocked. Sunak told reporters on Wednesday the announcement came as human rights groups celebrated the Supreme Court decision, stating that asylum seekers would be at risk of ill treatment if sent back to their home countries once in Rwanda. A joint civil society statement signed by 140 organizations, including prominent campaign groups, had described the plan as cruel and immoral. There's a lot going on around the world, community. And David DePape found guilty in Paul Pelosi hammer attack. A jury has found David DePape guilty on 2 counts in the violent attack on Paul Pelosi, the husband of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, last year in the couple's San Francisco home. DePape was convicted in federal court on 1 count of assault on the immediate family member of a federal official, with the jury determined that he used a dangerous weapon, and a 2nd count of attempted kidnapping of a federal official. He could face a maximum sentence of 30 years and 20 years on the charges, respectively. The harrowing October 2022 attack sent shockwaves through Washington at the time of rising threats against public officials, as fears of political violence remained heightened in the wake of the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack and other incidents targeting members of Congress in recent years. Then House Speaker Nancy Pelosi ultimately factored the attack into her decision to step down from her leadership post. And finally, billionaire investor has poured a reportedly $336 million into San Francisco agenda over the last 3 years. Michael Mortitz got obscenely rich as an investor in the Bay Area tech industry, and now he's been putting that money into a push to change San Francisco to the tune of $336 million over 3 years, according to a new report. The eye-popping sum of social and political causes was reported in the Bloomberg Business Week profile of the 69-year-old billionaire, and it was published on Wednesday. Moritz funds Crankstart, which is a massive grant-giving foundation based in the city, as well as the local media outlet, the San Francisco Standard. He backs SF Parent Action, which pushed the 2022 recall of members of the city's school board, and also helps fund the political advocacy group Together SF Action. And in early 21, per Vox, the Crankstart quietly funded Hearsay Media, a nonprofit digital media startup run by Together SF's co-founders. But after drawing questions from the media observers about the outlet's backers, Hearsay announced it was spinning out as a for-profit entity with $10 million in seed money from Mortz and his wife, Harriet Heyman. The outlet then changed its name to the San Francisco Standard. And that'll do it for the news. I'll turn it back over to you for the events.
Wow, it's interesting to see how these people back and make things happen. This is what I tell people. You gotta just follow what's going on. Interesting stuff, but this is what's going on, community. Y'all see how the San Francisco Standard is always coming after a lot of organizations, a lot of folks, and you just gotta really pay attention to where the money is coming. Interesting stuff, community. Interesting stuff. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and jump into our community events and announcements. Sister Io, take over. Let the community know what's going on.
On a lighter note, the Bayview community invites you to the Celebration of Lights on Friday, November 17th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Ruth Williams Opera House. There will be a tree lighting, community dinner, children's activities, and more. The SF Public Library presents Puzzle Swap on Friday, November 17th, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Bring a puzzle in good condition to swap for a new challenge to take home. This event will be held at the Bayview Linda Brooks Burton Branch at 5075 3rd Street at Revere. The Fall 2023 Community Creatives Workshop welcomes you to a free family fun event on November 18th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Palega Recreation Center, located at 500 Felton Street in San Francisco. Participants can learn or improve a new skill with any of our specialized workshop topics, as in sewing, hair braiding, self-defense, beading, jewelry workshops, and enjoy free food, prizes. For more information, please register at the link below. Fathers to Founders presents The Black is Beautiful Health Resort on November 18th, 2023 from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the Tenderloin. We are seeking service providers, screeners, testers, and educators. AAACC asks you to join them for the Celebrate Black Music event. Save the date, Saturday, November 18th. The Bayview YMCA Family Resource Center and Festus Ezel are hosting their 10th annual Thanksgiving supper and turkey giveaway on Sunday, November 19th. Doors open at 2 p.m. and the program starts at 3 p.m. at the Bayview YMCA, 1601 Lane Street. By Friday, please call in by Friday to pick up your turkey. Join St. Anthony's Season of Hope for Giving Thanks on the Golden Gate, November 21st from 11:45 to 2 p.m. at the 100 block of Golden Gate Avenue. There will be free activities like face painting and a photo booth, giveaways, free raffle items, special guest appearances, music, and more. HCN is excited to announce their annual turkey drive. We invite you to be part of a meaningful initiative by volunteering your time to help assemble meal boxes. To sign up for this event and explore other volunteer opportunities, please see the link below. SFHRC Dreamkeeper Initiative is pleased to announce the Cultural Wealth RFQ. Its purpose is funding qualifying organizations to partner with the SFHRC and other organizations to help promote and celebrate cultural wealth. Sister Small Business Saturday hosts holiday gift shopping on November 25th, 1 to 5 p.m. at the Black. To register, please visit the link below. Visit the Farmers Market located at the Southeast Community Center at 1550 Evans Avenue, San Francisco, every Thursday now through November 30th, 3 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. They accept cash, debit, and EBT. Mackey's Corner presents Mackey's Corner Xmas on December 3rd from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Food, dance, Black Santa, and presents. This event is to celebrate those who have been impacted by suicide. SFNAACP celebrates 95 years of service at the annual Freedom Fund Gala, December 1st at the Hyatt Regency Grand Ballroom located at 5 Embarcadero Center in San Francisco. Single tickets are $150 and tables of 10 are $1,500. The Black Female Project is hosting Invest in You, a transformative leadership program, December 1st and 2nd via Zoom with Charmaine McClare. Use coupon code WINNING2023 for $1,000 off. Join the A. Philip Randolph Institute, Resilient Bayview, the Walter and Elise Haas Fund, and the SFDPH to celebrate Resilient Bayview's 10th annual anniversary at the Southeast Community Center's Alex Pitcher Pavilion from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Tuesday, December 5th. Seating is limited, so RSVP today. Come out to the legendary Peacock Lounge and Gold Room to celebrate jazz singer Terry Odobi on December 8th. Doors will open at 6 p.m. at the show, and the show will start at 7 p.m. Tickets are $15 in advance and $20 at the door. OMI Cultural Participation Projects The Lion King, Friday, December 8th, 7:30 p.m. at the Orpheum Theater, 1192 Market Street in San Francisco. Walter's Wellness Group invites you to the Restorative Retreat on December 9th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. for a one-day retreat where a team of expert facilitators led by Dr. Kathia Walters will guide you through a transformative experience designed to help you to get into your body and quiet your mind. Dogs Club presents a holiday hoops basketball tournament for boys and girls 3rd through 8th grade. Register your school or club for $325 with a 3-game guarantee. The tournament will be held at San Francisco's City College. The San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee cordially invites you to be a part of the conversation every second Monday in 2023. You may attend in person at City Hall, located at 1 Dr. Carlton B. Goodlett Place, or online by registering. Dreamkeeper San Francisco invites you to join us for the community updates every third Wednesday in 2023. These meetings are open to the public via Zoom. As part of the fall exhibitions, the St. Joseph's Art Society features works and visual artist Christopher Birch in Traversing on Geographics of Blade and Bone, now through Friday, December 15th to December 15th at 1401 Howard Street in San Francisco. The community welcomes you to second annual holiday night market and block party on Friday, December 15th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the In the Black 1567 Fillmore Street. There will be food trucks, vendors, kids wonderland, and more. Wu Yi presents the Holiday Pajama Jam for the Bottles and Blankets Pantry Saturday, December 16th, 2023 from 1 to 4 p.m. at 4900 3rd Street in San Francisco. Experience a winter wonderland at the Ruth Williams Opera House on Saturday, December 16th, 2023 at 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 4705 3rd Street. Come out for the Lorraine Hansberry's Theater 2023 through 2024 season, starting at the Soulful Christmas, a holiday concert with performances Thursday through Sunday, December 14th to the 17th at the Fort Mason Center of Arts and Culture. Tickets are on sale now. Register your school's team for the F.R. Sawyer Academy's Holiday Hoops Basketball Invitational for boys and girls 5th through 8th grade. The tournament starts on December 21st through the 23rd, 2023, located at the St. Ignatius College Prep 2001 37th Avenue in San Francisco. OMI Cultural Participation Projects The Wiz, Saturday, January 27th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. at the Golden Gate Theater, 1 Taylor Street in San Francisco. The African American Arts and Culture Complex invites you to the Season of Black Art inaugural event, introducing the October through February 2024 season at the AAACC, kicking off a captivating celebration of Black creativity and culture with special guests and performers. Into Action announces the Black Culture Preservation Mini Grant Cycle 3, opening on January 25th and closing on February 26, 2024. From March 1st through May 31st, 2024, you can get up to $9,500 in funding for Black cultural preservation events in Tenderloin, Lakeview, Sunnydale, Visitation Valley, and OMI. DKI announces the Senior Home Repair Program. with up to $50,000 forgivable loans to low to moderate income senior and or disabled homeowners residing in historical distress and underserved neighborhoods in San Francisco. San Francisco Human Rights Commission has a regular bi-monthly commission meeting on the second and fourth Thursday of each month at 5 p.m. in the San Francisco City Hall Room 416. You can also attend via Zoom. Fathers to Founders hosts child support clinics every Tuesday and Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 232 6th Street. Receive essential guidance on child support, debt reduction, resolving driver's license holds, pursuing custody of your children, and establishing visitation rights. For clinic appointments, please call the number below. Please excuse me, we're having technical difficulties again. Let's keep them going.
The Dreamkeeper, go ahead. The Dreamkeeper down payment
Dreamkeeper, go ahead. Dreamkeeper Down Payment Assistant Loan Program, down payment and closing costs, assist housing counselors, lenders, realtors, info at the link below. Walter's Wellness Group, Sip and Paint Center every first, third, and fifth Friday. For more information, please see the link below. Fathers to Founders, Fatherhood Reimagined Therapy Group, Tuesday nights, 6 to 7:30 p.m. at 232 6th Street in San Francisco. APRI Youth Workshops, job referrals, resume building, skill building, internships, professional networking. Please see the links below. At 1301, go back. Fillmore's Friday Night Market. Fillmore's Friday Night Market, every Friday, 4 to 9 p.m. on O'Farrell Street, between Fillmore Street and Steiner Street. Live music, barbecue, soul food, games for kids, and more. New vaccination site, COVID-19 booster and monkeypox antiviral pill treatment, Thursdays, 1 to 5 p.m. at 330 Ellis Street, as well as Saturdays, 12 to 4 p.m. at 1221 Mission Street. The community living room open all day, Monday through Friday, breakfast from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and grab-and-go lunches from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. at City of Hope Cafe, 750 Ellis Street in San Francisco. Bayview Collective, BSOTC, Bayview Community Member Survey. Please take the survey today at the link below. Be a mentor in SFUSD Mentoring for Success. Sign up to volunteer as an individual and/or group mentor at our link below. BSOTC Award Ceremony, February 24th, 2024, 6 to 8 p.m. and bowling event, February 25th, 2024, 2 to 5 p.m. Sponsors are needed, so please see the link below. BSOTC's YGC basketball program, Mentors Needed Pay Stipend. To apply, see the link below. Promote your business, nonprofit, or community impact or hidden gem show. Share your expertise on Educational Thursday. Be a panelist on Sunday's conversation. Keep up with BSOTC's and our latest shows. Follow us on all of our social media handles. And please subscribe to our newsletter, at the link below. BSOTC is in search of volunteers. Give back to your community. Please see the link below. Support our program. Please see each and every one of our donation links. The Dreamkeeper Initiative invests in San Francisco's diverse Black communities. To learn more, please see the link below.
All right. Thank you, Sister Ira, for getting us through the events community. You guys know what time it is. It's that time of the year. It's Thanksgiving time. The holiday season is kicking off. this year we will be giving our community opportunity to hang out with their families and chill and do all the amazing things that we do during this holiday season. Our next show will be the following Sunday after Thanksgiving. This Tuesday, our Hidden Gem segment will be on hold, as well as the Thursday of Thanksgiving. We won't be live on the air. We will have a Sunday conversation this Sunday as we're talking about gratitude, things that we are thankful for. So much going on in the community, so much going on around us. I know somebody out there is thankful about something, and I hope, somebody is excited about what's going on for them in their lives. And we're looking for a couple more panelists to come on because we will talk about some good positivity. We know there's a lot of negativity going around, so many stressors, things happen. Listen, I'm thankful. I went to the emergency room today. My blood pressure is out the bishop. Okay, they try to take me down. I don't know. The stress was taking me out, but I'm good, community. I'm going to stand strong, and I'm thankful to be here with community. I'm thankful to be alive, to be able to push forward through the turmoil, through all the things that are taking place, and still making sure that we uplift the people, make sure that I'm part of the change process, the change makers, the narrative shift, all of that great stuff that we continue to do for community. It is very, very important that we stay engaged in these times, as we know so many folks suffer from anxiety, depression, different things during these holiday season, especially as we get closer to the holiday and the end of this year, as folks are trying to convene with family. And we know in the Christmas holiday, folks are out shopping and trying to do things. A lot of those stressors sometimes impact our community, and we want to make sure that community folks are doing the things that they need to do to stay mentally together, and just having support system. And we got some amazing events that's coming up, and I know Lynette Mackey's doing an amazing job with suicide awareness. We know that these times at the end of the year can be very dark for folks when money's being tight. Today, they finally pushed through here in California the bill to increase the rates for PG&E. So, it's a tragic time right now. Folks are struggling economically. And again, to have these type of increases and to have these type of financial impacts on our families in this time, in the cold winter months. I don't know about y'all, but it's been cold. We had some rain coming down here in the Bay Area, and it's a challenge. And again, to all of the folks that are in the giving mood, the folks that are in the mode of this holiday spirit to give back, there's a number of places that you can go to drop off coats and blankets, as so many of our unhoused folks and young people need those supports during this winter season. So again, community, do your part. Okay, get involved and do something this holiday season. We're going to be giving out a lot of the resources, even though we won't be having a Hidden Gem show or Educational Thursday show next week because of the holiday. We will, on our social media handle, be putting out a lot of information where you could come get turkeys, where you could come get support. There's a number of organizations that are doing stuff to help community during these times. So we'll be out there. Pay attention to our social media. We'll be putting out some information so folks can get out and get some support, as we know so many folks in our community needs it. With that being said, I see our honorable guest here tonight lining up, community right on time. It kind of worked out perfect. So with that being said, I don't want to hold us up anymore. I want to go ahead and get our DA up here and get her out of here. But Mark, go ahead and introduce our lovely DA tonight. Give a little bit of background to some of the folks who tuned in, a little bit about her.
Absolutely, Bishop. Well, Ms. Brooke Jenkins was sworn in as the 31st District Attorney of San Francisco in January of 2023. And as a native of the Bay Area, Jenkins has seen firsthand the racial inequities in the justice system and is committed to reforming it. She aims to promote public safety and advance justice for all as a DA. Jenkins has dedicated her career to pursuing justice and advocating for victims. She previously served as assistant DA in San Francisco from 2014 to 2021, gaining experience across units and prosecuting dozens of trials. Jenkins resigned from the DA's office in 21 due to the dissatisfaction with its direction, and she believes reforms are necessary but must be balanced with public safety. And as a Black and Latina woman, Jenkins brings a valuable perspective on disparities and misconduct in law enforcement. She's focused on a proportional, fair justice regardless of identity or background. And she also has law degrees from the University of Chicago and UC Berkeley. And she aims to make San Francisco safer while implementing vital criminal justice reforms, responsible as a DA. So with no further ado, let's present Miss Brooke Jenkins.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on. I'm happy to finally be here.
Yes, it's only been a couple of just give me a hard time, idea. Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. I know we've been trying to make this connection, and I mean, this is a perfect time. I mean, it just happened to all work out with the APEC and all of this stuff going on. I know it's a little later than normal, but for our community folks tuning in, it's a great time to just have a conversation with you. I know traffic is hard getting around the city, so much going on with the protests around the city, but happy to have you here. Because we are in this transitional time in San Francisco, and so much is going on, and you play a big part of like what's happening, and you in the loops of how this change could look like. And I know you got an upcoming election, and just want to start off there because a lot of folks, when it comes to the DA office, really don't have an understanding of all what you all do. So if you could just take a little moment here to just kind of really educate, because folks just think, hey, they just prosecute. There's a number of other things and functions that you all do at the office. And if you could take a second to just kind of give people a little background of what all you all do function there at the DA's office.
Yes, so of course, as most people know, we do the lion's share of the prosecution in San Francisco. When the police make an arrest, we have an obligation to see, is there enough evidence that we believe we can prove somebody is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? If we don't think there's enough, we discharge that case. If we do think there's enough, we charge the case and handle it in court. One thing that I have been committed to, though, is to really stepping outside of the lane of just being prosecutors. That is what our office, of course, has as an obligation to do. But I think our role in providing public safety and ensuring public safety for San Francisco needs to expand outside of just prosecuting in a courtroom. Public safety first comes when you prevent crime from happening in the first place. And I think that a part of that is really being cognizant of what work we need to do in the community, for the community, what role we need to serve within communities, maybe where we historically have not served as side by side, I should say, with community members, to really work on the prevention and intervention aspect of the work that we need to do. And so to that goal, I have tried to basically build out a part of our office that is dedicated solely to intervention and prevention work, primarily with our youth and with our TAY, transitional age youth populations. Because at the end of the day, most people fall into a pattern of committing crime largely because, in my view, they have no hope. They have no hope beyond their circumstance. And so if you can't see beyond your circumstance, then you feel like you have nothing to lose by going out and committing some quick crime in order to get what you want in that moment. And so I want to be a part of the solution of really helping people see there is a pathway outside of your circumstance. There is hope for a better future, a pathway to make a living, to survive in the Bay Area financially. And so we have to be a part of that intervention work too.
Wow, very phenomenal stuff. As stated in your opening, coming in as the assistant DA and now taking over as the DA, the experience that you had is unquestionable. But now moving in as the DA, as you approach the election year, some of the things that you've seen, some of the things that you've advocated for, how has that experience helped you, and where are we trying to go here in the future? How has it prepared you getting ready for this upcoming election and the change for San Francisco?
I think the biggest difference when you have worked as a line prosecutor handling all sorts of cases in the courtroom is that you understand the reality of what accountability can look like. This is different than reading something in a book, pontificating based on theories and things that you've learned. I come into this knowing what it feels like, what it looks like to give somebody that true second chance, what it feels like to maybe decide this is your fourth time, but there's something about you that I think I can intervene right now. And I'm going to give you this chance, but I'm going to tell you I'm not messing around. And I've had to have those conversations. I used to tell defense lawyers, hey, at the time that we take this plea, get ready. I'm going to make some comments to your client. And the comments generally are, look, this is your shot to make a different path for yourself. I'm rooting for you. I know that your family's rooting for you. I don't want to see you back at 850 Bryant unless you're coming here, as a potential juror in a case. That's the only reason I want to see you here. But really making sure that I take that experience and translate it now into the general approach in our office. So meaning I know which programs are out there that are available. I know what it looks like to give alternative sentences and to try to make that be the culture in the San Francisco DA's office. And so, again, that's what I mean when I say we can reform this system. We can promote alternatives to incarceration, not have incarceration be our default answer or form of accountability, but we can do it in a way that's responsible, where we see somebody through to the end of their programming before we give them the reward so that they still have that incentive to complete it. But not just do that anymore on a case-by-case basis, but now have that be the culture overall in the DA's office.
Wow, that's amazing. I want to say, I got to take my hats off because, since you have taken over, to see how you have changed the staff and bringing a lot of community folks in and really, diversifying the DA's office is pretty cool. I mean, I think it's always a good thing when you can see folks who've been in community-led organizations, people who have been in city departments who really advocate and are, part of the community. I think it definitely makes a difference in that perspective. But I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Io and Mark and let them get a few of their questions in because I know we're getting close to our time. It's short, y'all. I told y'all it's going to be short and sweet, but it's going to be good. But go ahead, Sister Io.
Short and sweet is always good. Straight to the point. Thank you so much for coming tonight. We do appreciate your time. A question that I would have is, how do you plan to balance the progressive criminal justice reforms with enforcement of public safety? And what role do you think the DA's office should play?
Whoops, and I missed, you froze up at the end. What role should the DA's office play
in reform?
Oh, okay. So I think we absolutely have an obligation to play a role in reforming the system. We, are the office that is responsible for determining what the form of accountability that someone gets looks like. And so if we default, like many counties do in California, like many areas do across the country, to having it be that there is solely incarceration as the solution, then we are taking ourselves backwards. And so for me, I think that the solution, like I said, is making sure that we are innovative and creative with what those alternatives look like, because that's how we move away from mass incarceration, but do it in a manner that still promotes public safety in our communities. What we can't do is just let the courthouse be a revolving door and say, hey, we're throwing our hands up. Reform means we have no rules and we don't enforce any rules. That doesn't benefit anyone. It doesn't benefit the people in the community. It doesn't even benefit the person who you're allowing to get away with it over and over again, because they stay in that perpetual cycle of committing crime. And so for me, we have to play a role in creating those pathways for alternatives to incarceration to exist. So for instance, one of the things that I'm committed to and that I'm working with one of my chiefs on in the office right now is really creating a blueprint for a gender-specific female offender court. A court that would be sort of taking some of our female offenders out of the traditional criminal courtroom, putting them into a space where we have resources dedicated to women who are in the system. We know from all sorts of data and studies that have been done, most women who commit crime have been the victims of trauma over the course of their lives in many different ways, be it domestic violence, sexual abuse, physical abuse. And so we need to address them in different ways than we would perhaps our male offenders who may not have that identical story. And so many of our female offenders have children that we want to keep them connected to, right? We want to keep them at home with. But so we need to be creating a space for dedicated resources that they need in order to change the trajectory of their lives. Even when maybe you look at a charge and would say, okay, under the penal code, it says you should serve, 3 years in prison. That's not the answer for you, given your background, given what we want for your children, because we don't want to promote another generation cycling into this system as well. And so I think that's the role that we can play, is being innovative and creating those other spaces that can serve as alternatives to the traditional types of punishment that we are used to. The other area that's really of great import to me is prison reform. If we are going to have prisons, which we have murderers, rapists, child molesters, all kinds of dangerous people out there that we do have to house in prisons, then we need to make sure that these facilities are places where we do not then take offenders who have short stays, right, who we know will be coming back to us very shortly, and have them in these spaces with the more dangerous people where we know, right, they're having to do things in order to survive. We need to make sure that we are creating actual places where people can constructively change their lives, where they can rehabilitate themselves. And we know that we have a long way to go in California with respect to our prison system, and really needing to create, again, facilities where people can actually grow and change. And so more recently, we took a visit to San Quentin. We sat down with a number of inmates in San Quentin, really to talk to them about what they thought could have been done for them at an earlier age to prevent them maybe from ending up where they are, but also listening to their sentences and understanding how disparate they were based on which county they came from, based on what their crimes were, and understanding we have a long way to go on sentencing reform, but also looking at the facility itself and taking a tour, how we need to do better with ensuring that those are environments where people can grow and change and rehabilitate.
Go ahead, Brother Mark.
Well, first of all, Miss Jenkins, let me just compliment you. It's easy to understand just from watching from the outside looking in why you've rose to the position you are. I've watched a few interviews. You're very sharp. A lot of times there are people that are trying to get those aha moments, and we appreciate you for the sake of the community giving your time to really talk about things. And you were actually appointed as a district attorney by Mayor London Breed after the recall of Chelsea Bolden. And there was a point that you went through where you had to take over in a transition that some people might say is controversial. And the community wants to really have an opportunity to know you more as a person, because again, you're very qualified for the role. That's not in question. But what did you experience going through that process of taking over the office that the community could take from it to really explain why you're so qualified to do it? Because people want to believe in people, but honestly, when we're dealing with politics, and you know, again, we want to make sure we respect the process, but so the people really know who you are and get a true sense of your nature. What was it about taking over the office that you saw that qualified you for it?
Well, that's a great question, Mark. I gotta say, that has been the toughest part. Honestly, I know how to do the function of the job. That's not the issue. The issue is that I kind of joke about it, that I kind of fell out of the sky, right? Into this role, very public role here in San Francisco. No one knew who I was. And there's already distrust of the DA's office, fairly, right? And by our community and many people. But this was taken up a notch because they said, and we don't know her. And all we know is that, you know, she sounds tough on crime. So what are you really about? And why should we trust you? And so that has been a caricature, right, that has been created of me to paint me as sort of this polar opposite of Chesa Boudin, tough on crime, wants to lock everyone up type figure, when it couldn't be further from the truth. Do I do the job very differently than Chesa? Yes. Do I personally have an interest in this system being reformed? Absolutely. One, because I'm a Black woman, because I have family members who are still caught up in this system, certainly who have been in the past. I have friends. I've seen what their records have done to their lives going forward and what jobs they can and cannot get, all sorts of things, right? And so from my perspective, like I said, I don't come to this from reading some book or having to have some professor teach me about these injustices. This is what my real life story is, right? Because that's the community I come from. And so that was difficult, and I did have to spend a lot of time. I still have to spend a lot of time going into the community to allow and answering a lot of questions, making myself available to people so that they can understand who the true Brooke Jenkins is, what my true belief system is, what I see is the true way and the best way to do this job. One thing that I will say is that 94124 is the zip code in San Francisco that has the most victims that we serve. Most people don't think that or know that. They only ever portray us as the defendants for a reason. They want that stereotype to perpetuate. Nobody ever talks about us as the victims. And so when I come into these spaces, right, in Lakeview, in Bayview, in Hunters Point, it's full of people who want to be safe, who are tired of being victims, who want to feel like when I'm the victim, I get a fair shake too. You are representing me, and I want justice. My loved one has been shot or been killed. My house has been broken into. Whatever it might be, they want their justice too. And so I try to really spend time saying we have to be a voice for ourselves as well in these spaces, right? In these courtrooms. Also at City Hall. I can't be a Black leader, a Latina leader, and not come into the space and represent the Black perspective. And so that is what I try to do, is say, we don't need you to speak for us. No. Right? We can talk about our own experiences. We know what's best for our communities. And I'm not saying I know everything, right? We all sometimes will have differences of opinion. But what I'm willing to do is bring folks into my office at the table to discuss what our differences in perspectives are. Maybe what do you want to be the main issue that we deal with here in the office differently, or as a city that you want addressed? And so I think, it's been a challenge to, like I said, make myself available. It's been a lot of time out, right? In communities, at a lot of events, doing town halls, doing whatever I can to make myself available. But I think people have seen and understood, as the time has passed, more and more about who I am.
Wow. I mean, Brooke, I want to say this because I got to tell the community, see, because as you evolved into this amazing leader, amazing Black and brown woman of our community, I want to say this to community because I've watched you, and I really respect and appreciate your resilience, and there was a lot of pushback. But as you said, you have been in the community, me personally dealing with stuff that happened in our city, my family, the level of humility and compassion that you show to people, right? And we get it with all the stuff that goes on when things happen. Yes, everybody wants everything to happen now, and I get it. But the level that you have engaged with people has been phenomenal. All of the events, speaking to the people, I really appreciate the engagement with the young people, because I always say our young people are the future. And I've been at so many events where you are always like, hey, come intern. And I didn't see that before. I'm just saying we didn't see that. So the level of engagement and your intentionality to make sure community folks who represent the community feels a part of the office, the work that you are doing to build the relationships with community is just a tremendous thing to see. And just, got to give you that, because sometimes it's hard to get access, with all this stuff going on. Typically in the past, I'm just saying, experiencing high profile cases, we see our DA, but truly just seeing you at so many community events, talking to folks, engaging. And again, it is difficult. And when you, like you said, and dealing with the Bayview 924, so much things happen over there. But to continue to keep the focus. And there's a lot of challenges, the culture that we live in when it comes to law enforcement, when it comes to the DA office, to be able to navigate that and still bring a level of professionalism and support. Number of incidents of families you there, balloon giveaways and things of that nature to support and uplift the community is just tremendous. So just want to put that out there, because sometimes, we go through these processes, and sometimes community just don't get to just highlight and say, hey, there is some good areas. We always want to just say, oh, this, we can't fix all the problems. And I think sometimes as community folks in all levels of our leadership in the city and beyond, we think that everything can be done, and it is task driven, and is sometimes being intentional to try to plan things to make things happen. But I got another question before we get out of here. There's so many changes. I know you're trying to bring so many innovative things to the office. When we talk about, like you said, the 94124 form being impacted the most when it comes to domestic violence, gun violence, the things that we deal with in the Bayview, victim services is a hot area, and I know. Some folks don't understand the position of the office and how it supports victims. Sometimes things happen and folks think, the DA office should do all of this. But, as we come into this next year and you're going, looking at the future of how you want to redirect the office and make changes, what are some of the things that you can say to community for folks who have been victim of crimes? And I know it takes a lot to get funding to support when things happen. In some of those areas where there might be gaps and you've been there and seen, hey, this is an area that we need to improve. How do you, in the future, look at some of the things that have taken place with victim services to look at how you're looking to transform that to really make it impactful for folks who are going through sometimes the most difficult time of their life?
Yeah, that's a great question, John Henry, and I think some of this came with me having to figure out who was going to be the chief of victim services under my administration. I did appoint somebody who is a Black woman, a nurse practitioner, a lot of history in serving our community, serving youth through the mental health field, just really coming into this space with a lot of background serving victims of trauma. And I felt that she was appropriate because of that history, not coming into this space from just working in a law office or anything like that. She comes into this space from a service background. And what we are trying to do is to make victim services more embedded into the community, because one, I think so much of a part of getting what you need is access. And for so many of our folks, right, you don't know that you have certain rights to receive certain things, even if you need it, even if you do, you're just unaware. So some of it comes with the knowledge. We have to give you the knowledge. We have to empower you to know what your rights are, what resources are available to you. But then we have to make it accessible. Some people don't have cars. You don't have childcare. Heck, most of us don't want to set foot in a DA's office, right? That is not a comfortable place for us. We don't want to be seen walking in the DA's office. My cousin might have a case, whatever it might be. You don't want to come there. And so Monifa Willis, our chief of victim services, is working hard to start embedding victim advocates into our communities that need it the most and who have those types of barriers to wanting to come in. Or being able physically to come into the office. And so those victim advocates, and we're getting ready to announce the first one that will be embedded into a community, and that's going to start a domino effect of us getting them into other communities, working with CBOs to house them into the community. But again, to both be available to educate victims on what their rights are and what resources are available under the state of California. But to really make people understand, we are here for you. We are here to serve you. And when it comes to the barriers that we sometimes run up against, as far as what compensation and things people can get, we have to be willing to look outside of what's obvious, right? Sometimes, okay, well, the state said they won't pay for X, Y, and Z. That doesn't have to mean we just look at a victim and say, hey, well, the state won't pay, so sorry, good luck, send you on your way. Our job is to figure out, okay, let's pivot from there. Is there another similar type resource, available within the city, right? Is there someone or somewhere else that can provide that to you from a different route? And so that's what really Chief Willis is trying to do within victim services, is really expand our role within the community, do more community engagement, more community educational forums where we're apprising folks of what their rights are as victims, what resources are available, and then make it easy for them to access advocates in our office.
Wow, phenomenal stuff. Last question before you get out of here. As you go into 2024, if you want to give some of your commitments that you have, you don't have to give them all out, but some of the things that you are committed to, we always hear these articles and stuff going on. We know our city's been hit with the fentanyl crisis, the unhoused issue, the violence. And I heard you earlier talk about, the preventative stuff. The numbers as we close out this year could be a setting year for the amount of fentanyl deaths and some of the violence that's taking place. If you can share some of the things to the community that, as you're going into this election year, some of the things that you are committed to when we talk about this fentanyl and making some headway. And again, we can't fix all of this stuff overnight, but where are some of your commitment areas with this fentanyl issue and some of the issues that's impacting our community in the DA's office perspective on that stuff?
Yeah, so I'm still working hard on this fentanyl issue. One thing that I try to remind those leaders in San Francisco that are not supportive of my efforts in this realm is that the highest percentage of people dying of overdose in our city are Black. So when we talk about when you stand on your pedestal and pretend to care about us and our people, then you cannot turn a blind eye to the number of our people that are dying on these streets right now. From that, more people are dying from overdose than guns and knives combined in our city. Right? Thankfully, when I took over, we were having a lot of shootings, specifically in the Bayview. A lot of that has calmed down, but a lot of lives are being lost on the street in the TL and in Soma. And we have to do something about it because it's our people. And I have to do my job, which means stop letting people keep selling this stuff. While at the same time, I support programs like Positive Direction, run by Cedric Akbar and others that are newly created, that are abstinence-based, because we know that's what people need, and to really try to facilitate encouraging whatever it takes to get people into treatment. Because this is a twofold problem, right? I have to address the supply side, and I have to do what I can to assist folks on the demand side getting into treatment that does not claim to be treatment, but simply enable their use, right? And the destruction of their lives. And so I'm trying to be a voice in that space as well, where we talk about the truth of handing people foil and straws, but then telling them don't use fentanyl. And that's a mixed message that is not going to succeed. Right. And so I will continue as the years go on, as I go into next year, being diligent on this pathway of addressing this crisis like we should. Right. The other thing is, I think from a crime standpoint, what I have to also address is the retail theft. I have to. We cannot continue to lose stores in our city. And the more I go around, again, like into our communities, into certain communities in the Mission, et cetera, when I hear people saying my Walgreens is the one that closed, we can't let that keep happening, because it's our grandmas and grandpas and aunties who don't get to go get their medication, who have to now drive across town to go get stuff that they need. We cannot allow that to continue to happen. We have to have some rules. But I'm also committed to making sure that, again, the way that we address some of these, certain things in our office continues down this pathway of really enhancing those alternatives. One of the things that, like I said, we are fully committed to and have started to bridge out is what this intervention and prevention work is looking like for us. One of those things is bringing kids into our office. I want kids to have a vision of where they can go in the future, right? And it doesn't have to just be, well, we're a law office, so you need to want to be a lawyer. No, learn what a paralegal does. Maybe you like computers. Go do an internship for a few weeks with our IT department, because we have one, right? Go work in our victim services division and see what it's like to be an advocate for victims. Work in our investigations division with our investigators and see what they do. I want kids to come in and have a vision of where they can go. But then we're building out what will be a continuation of that, because I don't want to just say, come in for the summer and then see you later, good luck. We have to continue with them as they grow. And so some of the things that we're working on is is building out some workshops that we would do with them throughout the school year on different topics, including something like knowing your rights, right? I still believe that hey, when I was a teenager, trust me, no, you can't see my ID. That was me. And so I want them to know also, what are your rights, how to articulate yourself in certain situations. But you have to be empowered to do that. But working with them on, if they have a particular interest, connecting them to the right space. So maybe their internship in our office bridges them to an internship in a different area, in a different office where they have a specific interest. And so that is my commitment to San Francisco, is making sure that our youth see their path forward so they don't end up with a case in my office. I don't want to prosecute our kids. I don't want to prosecute 18 and 19 and 20-year-olds, right? I want to make sure that they feel like they have a path out of their circumstance. And that means we have to do so much more to provide that and to bring them in, to hook them in. Making sure when you have an internship that you get paid, right? Because we can't afford to work for free. And also nobody wants to do that. And so what kid, if they can choose a different alternative, right, that will give them money, is going to come in and work for free? They're not. So that's been a lot of the work. And I tell you, it's not simple, right? It takes a lot of jumping through a lot of bureaucratic hoops, but it's worth it on the back end. And so I just want San Francisco to know I'm committed to the balance that I promised. I came in here saying it's not a binary choice of safety or reform. We can do it, we can have both. There's a thoughtful and responsible way to do this job. I used to tell my defendants' families, right? Look, one thing that I can promise you is I'll treat your son fair, right? I'll treat your loved one fair. We might not always agree on the outcome. I can't say we will, but you will walk out of this knowing they got treated fairly. And that is my mission, right? That is the mission of this system, is to make sure that no matter who you are, what you look like, where you come from, you were treated fairly. You got a fair shake. If you deserve that second chance, you got it. But that we uplift the community while we do this work.
Man, very phenomenal stuff. I'm right there with you. I'm fighting. I say we got to pay these kids, okay? And we can't give them $25 gift cards. No. It don't work, okay? And we
That's not going to buy those Jordans they want. It's not those right. Dunks that come out. No, they need the money for that.
No, definitely. I'm arguing all the time. It's like we spend all of this money on consultants, millions of dollars to get consultants to tell us how to do the work. And then the mentors, the people that we need to work with these high-risk youth, they only want to pay them $25 an hour. I go, we got to change this model, okay? We got to change. We have to evolve with the times, the current status. $25, we can't even get a meal at Subway in San Francisco, okay? We got some work to do. But I know you got to get out of here. Before we let you out, I want you to give an opportunity if you want to give any shout-out to your team. You have a phenomenal team. I met a lot of your team. And just getting you here tonight was so important, and they just worked so well. So thanks to Lily and all of the folks, Jessica and them behind the scenes, that continue to impact community. But I want to give you an opportunity to give any shout outs to your team, any folk that you want to salute, and any parting words you want to give to the community before you step out of here tonight.
Yeah, no, I want to shout out my whole team. I mean, my office is working hard. We have a lot of young lawyers who are doing everything they can to learn how to do this job, and so I want to shout all of them out for the hard work that they do. I have, Chief Tiffany Sutton, who I know is well known in the Bayview for all of the community-based work she does. She is a woman on a mission to make sure that we push reforms in our office and that we have a community footprint in San Francisco, especially in the Black community, to make sure that we are uplifting the community. Raymond Ross is another one. I know most people know him for the Brown Bombers, but he is instrumental in making sure that we bridge these gaps and connect right with the stakeholders in various communities around San Francisco. Also, that we all know Bayview and Hunters Point, they get all their props, but we can't leave out Sunnydale. We can't leave out Lakeview, right? Who oftentimes feel like they feel more like they get sort of the back end of the deal. And so really making sure he's great about making sure that I'm in all the various communities around San Francisco. I got 2 members of my security team who are from the Mission, right? And they're my kind of liaison. They kind of really always educate me on what it was like to grow up in the Mission, what they see the differences are, what things we need to do for the Mission. That's Jessica and Bobby. So it's like I said, it's a full team effort. I cannot take the credit on myself. It is all those people behind me that that are at these tables, you know, talking to me about what more we can do, how we can do it differently. And again, I just want the community to know I am here for you. I am accessible, right? I'm not in some ivory tower just raining down on folks. I want to know what folks need. I do empathize with what folks are going through. I tell people, a lot of people think, well, to be a prosecutor, you must have come from some great, lovely, plush background, right? And I'm like, look, I was raised by my single mother on Section 8, like grandma helping. Like that's my reality. That's how I grew up. So I am here to really try to just show you can be anything you want to be. It doesn't matter where you start, but we got to pull each other up. Can't just get there and then keep going. You got to keep pulling. And so I'm here to keep pulling.
Yeah, and thank you for always being in the community, because I'm tired of these people who talk about they in the streets with the community. They always throwing their events on the Barcadero, okay? And it's not okay. The issues are in our community. I need y'all to stop doing these events at the Barcadero. Come to the Bayview, come to the Fillmore. We are a small but mighty Black and brown community, and we will continue to do our part to uplift it. Well, Brooke, I know you got to get out of your busy lady. I know your desk is gonna be ringing at all these protesters backing up the Bay Bridge this weekend. They arrested him by the thugs.
Yes.
So I know you'll be
Lord.
busy with it.
Well, my 3-year-old is asleep, so I'm in good shape tonight. He went to bed early, but I still got to get to that 7-year-old. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for finally getting here. And again, we're here to support some of the programming that's coming up. We definitely reach out so we can help promote. Maybe we get some of those folks to come on, talk about the programs for the young folks and get them on. But again, it's an honor to have you here, and just keep pushing, keep being resilient, keep doing the things you're doing. They don't know, but you are my DJ, okay?
All right.
All right.
Hey, I got a good playlist, y'all.
I know.
I get down.
Exactly. Well, thank you. Get to the loved ones, get to the little babies. Thank you for being here, and we'll continue to uplift the work that you are doing. Thank you for your service, and continue to be resilient, fight through all of what's going on.
Thank you. Appreciate it. This was great.
All right. Have a good evening.
All right. You too.
All right. There you guys have it. San Francisco District Attorney, D.A. Jenkins. I told y'all she wouldn't fail. Great insight. A lot of things happening. We're changing. We're making things happen. And again, when we talk about changing the narrative, it takes us all, okay? And again, growing up in the community, Mark is always, forget the DA. We don't want to, but it's sometimes good to have somebody who is Black and brown to understand, right? The law is the law, things happen, but sometimes to have somebody that understand those struggles, because I'm going to tell you, it was a time when we didn't have DAs who understood our struggle, and they just say, hey, you need 25 years of life. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just great to have that, and there's always going to be people who have their issues. Nothing's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But at least she has an understanding when it comes to community. I can say I see her out there working with the people, talking, taking the difficult questions behind the scenes, okay? Because sometimes people say, oh, we don't see what they do. I'm out there. I'm in the community. I'm in these streets, okay, community. And I see folks walking up to her, asking a difficult question. When is this case going to get for my family member? It's a lot. And she handles it well and do her job. Again, the civic duty is for all folks, okay? This election season coming up, you can make your voice heard. Do your part, community. Get out and let your voices be uplifted. But Mark Io, what do y'all think about tonight? I think this was a short but sweet, straight to the point, very informative, educational Thursday tonight. What you think, brother?
Well, Bishop, I'll be honest. I've always been skeptical of politics as a whole. Just as a student of American politics and global politics, there's always this element of posturing that you see happen. But I'll be very honest, listening to her, she has a very common sense approach. When you just kind of look at what she's dealing with, you're talking about restorative justice and policy reform. She's dealing with an opioid fentanyl epidemic, retail theft, organized rings. You've got all that going on, and you see this young sister who's out of the community, local, and she's qualified. She has the experience. She's got the chops for the job, but she has this compassionate accountability to her approach that I think is refreshing to see. And honestly, everything she said was right. and she gives you the sense of you want to see her win. Like I could see her progressing up the political scale maybe one day, but she's coming from the community. So I see her being an asset because it's like having representation that really understands the community that they're working for. So I was impressed. I'll be honest.
No, definitely. I mean, like I said, I've been able to just work around some of the folks around her, her, and just see that, it's a challenge. There's no perfect way in or out. But again, she stands up, she's resilient, she answers the questions, she's doing it, man. And I've had, meetings as a community organizing, some of the things she talked about, when it comes to our youth that I was very happy and satisfied with. And it's difficult, man, to be in that position. But again, she has been very innovative, and she has standed on her beliefs. And I've been a part of some of those meetings with a bunch of other community organizations. We talk about what that incarceration looks like for young people. And when she say fair, I must say I have to agree. We've pushed back about things, and she has always been fair from some of the things that I've noticed and I've been witness of. So that's all I can speak on. But again, community, everybody's going to have their experience. Again, re-elections coming up, 2024 community, it's your job to get out and make your decision on what you think things should be. It is a difficult job. It's a difficult task. So I give her all the kudos because, it's hard to make people happy. It's hard to make those tough decisions. But again, there is policy and law that they have to follow. But again, if you can have somebody who is committed to fairness, even in the midst of the most difficult decisions that have to be made, I'll take that over somebody that's out to put somebody down, and don't have no regard. So I'll take that, community. Sister Io, I know it's late. Look, Io, it's late. We're not used to this. We're usually out of here by this time. Sister Io, give something to the community. What you think, Io?
Well, first and foremost, growing up in the 94124, I appreciate her attentiveness to how she said the victim side. Not so often do you even hear or have a story where there's been a DA that actually wants to hear their side. It's just about prosecute next, right? But also the way that she was kind of just thrown into the fire and everything just dropped in on her, and how she's coming back leading the pack. You know what I mean? Like she's taking her tenacity, her fire, her drive, and everything, and putting her best foot forward to be that change. She's changing not only the face of the DA's office, but also the initiative, which is amazing. I grew up with a bias as well, of what the DA's office stood for. Like she said, you got people coming in with hoodies and masks and disguises, like, all right, I can't be seen going in there. But to have a leader like that, someone like that you will be going in and actually trying to be a part of her initiative, and actually being a part of the difference that she wants to make. I wish her all of the best of luck in this upcoming election. And I wish that we had more people in that office, in the politics, in our San Francisco judicial system, with her mindset, her heart, and her gumption to actually voice it and be the person that's putting the action to it.
Wow. Very, very powerful stuff. At the end of the day, we all have to do our part. Okay, the bishop, I can't be a politician. My blood pressure won't let me go. Okay, I don't know. My blood pressure won't let me do it. I get too excited. I get too radical. I get too passionate about the people. Okay. But one of the things that really touched me about what she said, and this is something I'm fighting about every day, when it comes to our interns, when it comes to young people, to combat crime, we have to make an investment community. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of people say, oh, these young people, these people in the community, we're babying them, we're socializing everything. We are at a time here in San Francisco that those financial incentives needs to happen. If we want to bring down crime, we want to bring down some of these things. People are hurting out here. Okay, some people just think, I don't know where everybody is, but I'm in these streets, I'm in these spaces. I see the layoffs, I see the financial impacts, I see what's happening. Folks are struggling, and when the family struggle, the kid struggles. And I think sometimes we forget that when moms and dads can't afford to pay the rent, pay the mortgage, pay the bills, the kids suffer. And sometimes that suffering or that lack of resources sometimes puts our young people to make poor decisions that impact our community further with violence, with robberies and things of that nature. So we have to find a way to make sure that we get resources to these communities, to these young people, so that they can thrive and be a productive part of our society. Again, it's a lot of work, okay? And again, it's going to take legislative and some of the political and elected officials to make change. I mean, we have to, as a city, grow and evolve. As a country, we have to. Some of the rules that they put in place of what people can help with and things of that nature, the amount of money that can be paid. I mean, we have to be real. It's just like sometimes they say, oh, you can pay a kid $25, $50. I mean, she's not lying. It's like, come on, y'all. Really? The times we in. I mean, you can't sit here and have the data and the statistics and say to live in San Francisco, you have to make 150,000 plus just to make it. And then expect all of our programming, all of the services that we provide to the community is restricted to $25, no more than $100. We got these hard caps of unrealistic amount of monetary process. And I think that's something that we have to change. Again, I'm sick and tired of the amount of money that we invest and pay consultants. Okay, we pay consultants a lot of money, okay, to come in here and tell us how to run program, how to be in our community when we have the experts who are already doing the work, but we can't invest in paying them. And that has to change, not just here in San Francisco, but across this country. All of the high risk things that's taking place when we talk about gun violence, violence prevention, okay, those folks should be making the top dollars when it comes to this work to impact community, because again, it takes a lot. They are dealing with the most traumatized PTSD folks, the most high risk, life safety, put your life in danger to come do this work. And then we confront them with $25 an hour. Okay, that's all we can pay you is $25 an hour. But we could pay consultants $800-900 an hour, $600-700 an hour. We got to change. That got to happen. We have a real change that need to take place when it comes to what we could do and a realistic amount of how things go. It's just not where we at, and we have to make sure that we are advancing with the cost of living and where things at, so that folks can be impacted and we can have true change and impact in our community. So with that being said, I know it's late, Mark. I know it's late. I know it's late, but I got to give a benediction to the people, okay? I'm going to raise my blood pressure. I don't know. After this benediction, y'all might have to call and check on me. I might be laying on the floor. I might need EMS. I don't know, but I'm going to get through the benediction tonight. My blood pressure is over the roof, okay? All of the stress, all of the organizing, all of the fight that I got to do for the people. My head is swelling up. I don't know. But I'm going to make it, okay? Y'all pray for the bishop. See, I need prayers. I'm not afraid to say, pray for me. I'm at the edge. I'm fighting. I'm going. I'm resilient. I'm not going to stop. They texted me now. Get off the air. What are you doing up? You should be laying down resting. I don't know. I'm for the people. I'm going to go out. I'm going out for my people. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. Just pray for me. But with that being said, tonight, community, I hope you enjoy the short but impactful conversation with D.A. Jenkins. It takes a lot to be Black, to be brown, to be a female, to stand up, to fight against the oppressors, to fight against the system, to come with the leadership, to make change, to be innovative. It takes a lot. So to see our DA here still standing, even with the opposition, still being innovative, still trying to make a way out of no way, to bring some kind of harmony. When we look at law enforcement and community, when we look at the DA office in community, there is still a level of compassion and humility that she brings to the people. Fairness, I heard her say it, fairness, at least nothing less, community, fairness is what you get when you see the representation of D.A. Jenkins, the amazing team that she has put together to fight for the victims, to fight for community, to fight for the change, to make some type of narrative shift. It takes a lot. It takes all of us. It's a work in progress. When we see our elected officials, when we see our city folks, sometimes we don't always have the great introduction. Sometimes we don't always have the great introduction and how to connect. But tonight, she came here late, community, to make sure that she spoke up about the office, the work that is happening, the things that are coming down the pipeline, the way that they're trying to impact the youth, the way that they're trying to impact change in this city. It is hard to make a decision at times to have to convict the very people that look like you. Sometimes it is a challenge to have to do the difficult work, but it has to be done. Shout out to D.A. Jenkins, rolling up her sleeve, going to work for the people. We have a crisis in our city when we talk about fentanyl. It is a crisis across this country. Community, we must do our part to get involved, to bring the education and awareness to our young people. Too many lives have been lost. Too many dysfunctional things have happened because of fentanyl. The level of break-ins, the level of robbery, the level of things that are taking place. We must band together. We must do our part to work together and figure out a way so that we can change the narrative in our city. When we talk about retail theft, I know it's hard. Times is difficult. The holiday season is here. I heard her say it, but we still have to think about our elders in the community. When these pharmacies close down, when these grocery stores close down, when these businesses leave our cities, selfish people, think about the elders who need it. Think about the people with disability. Think about the people who need those resources. We have to find a way to empower our youth. We have to find a way to bring resources to our community. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. We are headed into a major crisis in this country. We have to find a way to be innovative, to create new opportunities. We have so much going on. There is so much highlighted. We have to get involved. We always say we want to be invited to the party. Tonight, the olive branch have been passed to the community. We have to work together, even on disagreements, even when things don't feel right. Sometimes we have to get involved so that we can be a part of the change process. We can no longer sit back, community, and just point the finger and say, oh, the DA office, oh, the police. We have to get involved. We have to do our part. Tonight, it's an invitation to you in the community. Find out how you can connect. How can you bridge the gap? How can you impact the community? We have a crisis. There are so many areas of support that is needed right now. When we talk about mental health, substance abuse, unhoused work, health, I need all of my educated folks to get involved. If nothing less, this holiday season, find an organization that you can connect with. You can give back. You can help uplift. I don't know what it is. Find a way. We need help. We need services, and we need people to stand up, even in the political climate that we have going on. We need leaders. We need real leaders to step up right now more than ever. I don't want to hear about your degrees. I don't want to hear about your sororities and your fraternities. I need some leaders that want to stand up with some ethics, with some morals, with some values, with some principles, and say enough's enough. We have to do what we have to do. The young people are watching. Adults. Yeah, all of the adults out there. Let's do our part. Let's lead by example. The young people are watching us. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're not doing so well in the faces and the eyes of our young people. Look at what's going on. Look at what's going on Capitol Hill. Look what's going on in Sacramento. Look what's going on with our community leaders. Look what's going on. We have a problem. Young people are watching the elders, the adults. Adults! Let's do a better job. Nobody's perfect, but we can start tonight. Think about it. Let's not just shout out our successes, our careers, our educational plateaus. Let's get involved. Let's get back. Let's be the change makers. With that being said, thank you, community, for putting up with the bishop. Again, even my blood pressure, I'm getting weak over here. I don't know, I might pass out before the end of this benediction. But we are here to continue to impact our community at both sides of the conversation. The holidays is here. Thanksgiving is next week. What are you thankful for? I hope somebody out there is thankful for something. This Sunday, we are talking about gratitude. I want to hear from the community. It's been a whole year. We almost at the end of this year. Somebody out there is thankful for something. What are you thankful for? You want to come talk about it? Come join us this Sunday at 4 p.m. as we're going to highlight some of the great things that are happening and hear about the things that folks are thankful for as we end this year out. We will not have a Hidden Gem show next Tuesday, and we won't have a Hidden Educational Thursday next Thursday, as next Thursday is Thanksgiving. So again, community, after this Sunday, if y'all don't see us on Tuesday, don't be texting me talking about where y'all at, why y'all not on the air. Okay, we giving everybody a break, and I hope, and I truly hope, Ayo and Mark, that this holiday season, this end of this year, Black folks, brown folks, all folks, we do some healing work in our community with our families. Maybe it's somebody out there that did something to you. Can we rebuild and heal this holiday season? Maybe let's go to the Thanksgiving party with our family this year and apologize. Maybe we did something last year. Let's fix and amend some of these broken relationships. We need healing in our community. Let's make this holiday season not about just eating, but let's make this a year of healing, repairing. You know, we got to do this in our community. You have to be the leader of your family. You have to be the leader of your community. Maybe you said something to somebody that offended them. Pick up the phone. I apologize. Maybe you haven't talked to your mother. Say, Mom, I love you. No matter what, I still love you. Dad, I love you. Brother, I love you. I don't know. Let's find out a way this year to repair some of this. I'm going to call a few people. Maybe I offended you on the air. Maybe I talked about your eyelashes. I don't know. I'm going to call you. I'm going to repair some stuff this year. I don't know. Y'all know I love y'all community. We're going to do some stuff this year. And if I did offend anybody or hurt anybody, I apologize. I love y'all. It's no nothing personal. But if you feel like I did, reach out to me. Text me because I want to fix it. Okay. I don't want to walk around. I don't want no more rocks thrown at my car. Okay. I got people throwing rocks at me. When they're going to picture. Ladies, I swear. I don't know. This is the last of me. Y'all have to say that y'all won't see me for a couple of days. Hey, with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Great show. Shout out again to District Attorney D.A. Jenkins for coming on. Shout out to her amazing team for getting us connected and making things happen. Community, we have some work to do. I love y'all. I know it's late. We got to get out of here. Continue to uplift your head in these challenging times. I keep telling y'all there's a volcano that is erupting across the world. The lava is spitting. We are almost at the pivotal part where the volcano is going to erupt. Let's get ready. Let's be prepared. Let's be resourceful. Let's stand together. Let's work together. Let's change the narrative. We will continue to do our part here at both sides of the conversation. We will continue to uplift the voices of the people. Even with my blood pressure elevated, I will uplift the people. Step with the bishop. With that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great evening, everybody. And we'll see you all this Sunday. And have a happy Thanksgiving. Good evening, everybody.